What's up, fam? It's your boy back at it again with another video, and today we're talking about Isaiah Rashad's new project, It's Been Awful. Which, you know, yeah, Isaiah Rashad of TDE fame, hip-hop's local vibe merchant, is back after 5 whole years, which seems to be a staple for any artist in the TDE sphere. Weird. Now, for a little bit of background, Zay is surprisingly one of my most played artists, despite not usually coming to mind when I'm thinking about my favorites. He is what many would describe as a mumble rapper, but in a way that's very different from the sound that's usually associated with mumble rapping. So while his lyrics aren't always easy to pick out on first listen, he's still talking, and his flow is ridiculous. And every now and again, you do get some standout performances from him with that conscious rapper level of clarity. His production style also has a lot of range. On my favorite album by him, Sylvia Demo, you get a production style with more of an industrial edge, whereas on the Sun's Tirade, you get a bit of a cleaner style with some more trap influences. But then if you look at The House Is Burning, you have songs on there like Headshots or Claymore, which sound completely different than anything else he's made prior. Regardless of the angle he's going for, I enjoy all of his albums, and I can continue to say that with It's Been Awful. Conceptually, It's Been Awful is his most cohesive album to date. This album comes with a bit more of a laser focus on what he's trying to say than what you usually get. In it, he's mostly talking about his relationships to drugs, relationships with people, and how those two parts of himself intersect and interact in the worst and best ways. Drug use has always been in the background of his career and music style. I mean, a lot of his songs are go-to tracks for when you're doing your thing. But It's Been Awful is the first time he's really diving into it as a concept. In a similar vein to Mac Miller, he talks about drugs as something as he sees as an issue, but also a very big part of his identity. So he's stuck in a cycle of trying to get sober, then the world does its thing, so then he gets back to doing what he do. It's not necessarily destroying his life, but it's affecting his day-to-day. And there's a domino effect that his drug use has on the people that he feels responsible for taking care of. Between the new Sublime and Man on a Mission, he's completely aware of the toxic cycle he's stuck in, but still recognizes it as a part of his identity like anything else, which is reinforced by the lead single Same Shit, where he's using a monotonous flow to rap about the monotony of his life, making money, business deals, living, and popping pills included. There are also mentions of his kids and the woman he loves throughout this project. There are even songs here that simply exist to encapsulate the love that he has for them. He shows a genuine desire to grow, but doesn't want to become unrecognizable. The focus isn't on the substances, it's more so focused on the conditions that are causing him to feel attached to those substances. Which is why when you get to the song Superpowers, which really does feel like the actual closer to this album, he makes a statement about how powerful he feels with his family. People often describe substances as granting them superpowers because the way in which that they can alter your state of mind and save you from the fucked up world around you. This song basically shows that he's becoming more and more willing of letting his loved ones fill that gap rather than something as unhealthy as what he's been using. The album closes with Zay realizing that his loved ones can be that for him. Conceptually, there's a lot going on here, and to be honest, his vocals tend to be pretty low in the mix, so I'm pretty sure I've only scratched the surface of what this project has to offer thematically. But I find it to be very interesting and thought-provoking. But obviously, writing doesn't make an album on its own. How's the sound? So for It's Been Awful, this definitely goes in a more alternative direction for Isaiah Rashad's sound. Instead of the more underground trap influenced style of rap that we usually see from Zay projects, there's more of a slight rock and pop lean for this. Wait, not in a bad way. But to be completely honest, disclaimer, I am not the best at describing genre, but I can tell you this album has more guitars, piano refrains, harmonizing, sung choruses, and anthemic tendencies than anything he's done before. What makes it interesting is that he's actively blending in his high tempo flows, low energy delivery, and trap drums with this more colorful production palette. It's a pretty different direction for him. Some highlights for me are Man on a Mission with this minimalistic beat and dope flows. Same Shit has been on repeat since it released as a single. You'd think its gimmick would get boring, but it doesn't. It bangs. Scared to Look Down has the best rapping on the album in a breakneck beat. Happy Hour is the perfect song for drowning out your demons in liquor and tears. It's also got an earworm of like this grand piano loop. Also a great chorus. Even some of the more poppy cuts like Cameras with Dominic Fike and Boy in Red with SZA really work for me. For better and for worse, It's Been Awful's sound is extremely cohesive. It makes for an album that feels like an album, not just just a collection of disparate songs. But sometimes the songs can run together a bit and lose some of their own identities, which I think is a bigger issue on the second half of the album, especially with the songs Act Normal and 10 States Away. They aren't bad songs, but they don't really feel like complete ideas, especially sandwiched between the two big cinematic tracks, Cameras, and Nothing to Hide. Also, I think 719 Freestyle is a nice bonus, but with it being the last song, it kind of undercuts the grand closure you get with Nothing to Hide and Superpowers. It just feels weird as the last song coming after those two. But overall, I really fuck with this project. I like that he went for something a little bit different musically, and that he also had something he really wanted to talk about. It's Been Awful feels like it could also be a good gateway into genres outside of the rap and R&B sphere. I also think this is a great introduction into Isaiah Rashad. With this, he's 4 for 4. My top 3 tracks are going to be Man on a Mission and Boy in Red at number 3. I couldn't choose one. Happy Hour at number 2 and Scared to Look Down at number 1. 8 out of 10. So, what do you think about It's Been Awful? Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the socials, and thank you for watching.